Here. Julie Cope.
Here.
John Linder.
Here.
Dean Mero.
Here.
John Pettit. Bonnie Princeton.
Here.
Hayden Stensgaard.
All right, thank you. First is the adoption of the agenda, and we have a change to new business item number 2, which is the proposal from Winona Nursery in the amount of $54,837.14 for the irrigation. And the May board bills in the amount of, I guess that's in the consent agenda. We'll deal with that when we get to it.
That new amount under 5 board bills, May board bills, as you scroll down there, the new amount is $2,005,248.03. Yeah.
Okay, with those additions, any other additions or corrections?
No, that's it.
All right, so we'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So I'll make that.
Motion by Chris. Is there a second?
Second by Howell.
By Hal. All those in favor of adopting the agenda with the changes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to item 4, public comments are heard. Anybody wishes to address the board? Not this evening. Okay, moving on to item 5, the consent agenda. We have donations in the amount of $1,500 located on page 3. We have April 24th, 2017, regular board meeting minutes located in pages 4 and 5. We have April hand payables, wires, and payroll liabilities in the amount of $264,751.10. That is located on pages 6 through 8. We have April payroll in the amount of $241,926.77. May board bills in the amount of $2,005,248.03, which is located on pages 9 through 15. And we have some personnel issues, resignation of Carissa Brewer, 9th grade volleyball coach, hire of Allison Oyen, youth rec assistant coach for the traveling softball, and the hire of Helene Schwendinger, community ed rookie baseball assistant and umpire. Any comments or questions regarding the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Regarding the minutes, should Lisa Lawson be included in the attendees under administration?
She was down in attendance.
Wasn't she?
I don't know.
She
Lisa,
was-
you were at the last board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. To be clear.
Well,
I
that-
saw that she presented her.
Yeah.
Yes, that correction should be noted. Any other comments, questions?
I had one thing too, and
Sure.
I don't know if this is a big deal, but on the board minutes, and it was, I think, it looks like it's under public comments, but I think it must have been under the consent agenda. And it's too bad Director Pettit isn't here because he could have clarified, but his suggestion that new hires be present at the board meeting, I was sitting right next to him, I'm pretty sure he suggested that the hiring committee come to the meeting, not the new hired person, which kind of made sense to me at the time. And when I saw it in the minutes, I think he wanted the hiring committee to come so he could, if we had questions, we could ask them anything.
I understood the new hire should come too, so we could meet that person.
Oh, okay, well, yes, we were here, you could clear that up.
I guess I don't recall. Anybody else have a recollection of? I remember we talked about it, but
Maybe he wanted both.
I just remember the committee or a representative from the committee, if we wanted to ask them, but I guess we won't know.
well, we can table that until the next meeting, I guess, if that is acceptable. I don't know that it was a motion anyway, it was a suggestion.
Right. But I didn't remember saying new hires, and I thought, if it's it's gonna be a matter of public record.
I think his recommendation, in all fairness to him, I think his recommendation was twofold. One is for the new hires to be in attendance. And one of his suggestions was as well as to have the committee members present.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we could make that clarification this evening.
Okay.
Again, as John indicated, that was his suggestion. So on that note too, as long as I have your attention, I just wish to extend my thanks and appreciation to Ms. Brewer for serving as the ninth grade volleyball coach. She has been in that role for the last 2 years, correct, 2 years. So I'm very appreciative anytime we have staff members that are on staff to work within our athletics. So my thanks to Ms. Brewer for her assistance in assisting with the ninth grade volleyball.
Okay, any other comments or corrections on the consent agenda? Not, we'll look for a motion to approve item 5.
Motion by Iverson.
Mr. Iverson, is there a second?
Hopeful second.
Second by Coe. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to old business, item 6. First is the approve the second reading and adopt the following policies. Number 212, school board development. 214, out-of-state travel by school board members. And policy 412 regarding expense reimbursement. Any questions, any comments on those 3 policies?
Item number on policy 214, on the back of your page, we did put what suggestion that we were able to kind of glean from area school districts and taking everyone's what they offered. So working with Laura, we kind of came up with those amounts. So we're hoping that they're satisfactory to you as well.
And Mr. Chair, I sent an email to, I think, a copy on an email to Laura, suggesting that in item number 3 on policy 214, it should refer to all travel to out-of-state meetings should be pre-approved by the school board instead of just other out-of-state meetings. And I think that's sort of covered in the next section on reimbursement, but it just re-emphasizes it here that you don't just travel where you think you can.
So you wanted to read all travel to out-of-state meetings?
Yes, and then the rest.
Eliminate the word other.
Yeah.
Okay, and 2 and other, excuse me. All
Does that make
travel
sense?
for out-of-state meetings. So that last sentence will read, all travel for out-of-state meetings which the member intends to seek reimbursement from the school district shall be pre-approved by the school board. Is that similar? Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments, corrections? We look for a motion to approve and adopt the policies noted in item 6.
Hopeful make the motion.
Motion by Coe, is there a second to?
Iverson, a second.
Second by Iverson. And all those in favor of approving item 6, the adopting the policies noted with the change, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. Moving on to new business. Item 7, new school update and approval of change orders. Mr. Robertson, what do you got for us?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak and give you this description of how the new project is moving along. They are tracking a little bit ahead of schedule. They won't exactly tell me how much, but they're clipping along nice. The exterior, if you've driven by, you can see a lot of site work. They're starting to take down the hills and make kind of the dirt pretty again. They're installing curb and gutter this week. That's going to really take it to the next level. Majority of the sidewalks around the building are in. You can't really see that because they're at the same level as your eyes when you're on the street, but the curbs and gutter, you'll be able to see that. You'll start making, oh, that's the parking lot, the turnarounds, all that. And as far as area, it'll really take place. The curb and gutter on the parking lot side, that'll be in about 10 days to 2 weeks. The big job trailer is going to go away within the next month, and so they're going to really start dressing up and living inside the building, if you will, instead of like even the job trailer. The light pole bases, the big underground concrete things that take a lot of time and energy, they're in. You don't see them ever again. But so there's still a lot of that work that takes place that has to be done, but you don't get to see it, you don't feel it, you know, as the project matures. Some of the things that you can see, the kitchen equipment is in the building. About 80% of it is installed. The other half of it, or the other 20%, is just kind of floating around in the kitchen area and not being placed yet. But it's in. The finished ceilings in the shower rooms, in the locker rooms, those are done. A lot of the acrylic is going in place, so the colored circles and the little letters and down elementary halls and all that, that's getting installed. A majority of the carpet and the vinyl tile, that's in place already. It's probably in the 85 to 90% range. The terrazzo floor, that's all in the commons and in the cafeteria area, the big meeting halls, that's all down and in place. It's real dusty, but they do that for protection. They wait a little bit longer before they clean it and then do the final polish, sanding to make it real shiny, real pretty. That's basically done. The entry steps, those got finished last week, and so now all the concrete going into the building is done. Painting is still taking place. They were in the band and choir rooms, so they're already on that corner of the building. The classroom side, if you remember the building, you have all this classroom side and administration, that's basically done. Now they've moved around to the back corner of the other property coming this way with the paint. Aluminum door frames and windows, those are all done. They're sealed up. We're actually looking at starting the big air conditioners to dehumidify the building within 2 or 3 weeks. And so that's going to start pulling the humidity out and actually conditioning the space inside the building. The theater seating is coming. That's going to start to get installed the end of this week, beginning of next. And so the actual theater itself, the finishes on the walls and the tile and the soundproof boards and the laminates on the ceiling, those are all installed. The last thing to do is the carpet and the actual chairs. That's coming in, like I said, within the next 10 days. That should be done. They are beginning the work on Grimsrud Road. They're running all the internet. They're running that underground. They're actually pulling that today, and so they're pulling the actual conduits underneath the ground. That's neat to watch. It's horizontal drilling. If you've ever seen that, it's pretty neat. Almost all of the cabinetry is in, the millwork for the building, the labs, all the classrooms, common areas for the teachers, the breakout rooms, those are almost all in place. That being said, we're about 78 days from contract completion, a little bit less because this was written on Friday, so 75 days or so to being done. And as I was saying, they're a little ahead of schedule, so that's going to put our schedule a little bit ahead to move in and start occupying space, which is all a good thing. We took change order number 11. I gave you guys more detail on the breakout instead of just giving you guys dollar amounts. These are actually the items that institute those, or how we come up with those numbers. I can certainly drill down on any of those that you have any questions about. For example, the Grimsrud Way, I said they had already started, they're working on that, pulling the internet and all, across it, really, not going up Grimsrud, but pulling it across. That's in one of those packages in the change order package, and that's the curb and the gutter, the storm sewer addition, all that, just so we can manage that water running down the hill a little bit more effectively. But yeah, that one is $66,415 for change order 11. I am working on change order 12 already, and I think we're even out of the big numbers of the 60s and the 50s. I mean, because change order 12, I'm sitting at, one moment, let me back up. I got ahead of myself. $22,657, and I'll get you guys all of that information within a day or so of how I'm coming up. And because like this, it's still a living document. We haven't negotiated finals, but that's they're just starting to kind of trickle in now, and just the confirmations from the architects and the engineers that the numbers are valid, and it is exactly what we wanted and what we're expecting at the end of the day. We are turning furniture loose within our budgets. On our budgetary sheets, we were still booking all of our FF&E at that $445,000. We are turning 2 different companies loose to achieve a better cost savings. Instead of going with one company, we broke it down. We took 4 actual bids from 4 different companies, vetted all 4 of them, told the 2 highest contractors, suppliers, thanks for playing with us, maybe next time. We then started really vetting and getting deep and meeting with the 2 companies, going to their offices, looking at colors, furniture, actual pieces of what we are wanting, and came up with the best derivative to divide it into 2 different companies. The breakout spaces is the common way, that is an easier way to put it, and that's going to be a Schmidt Goodman. That's a local company in Rochester, local-ish in Rochester, and taking that with the classrooms or educational side. That's going to be Innovative Office Solutions. They're out of Minneapolis. They have offices in Rochester. They're a little bit bigger of a fish than Schmidt Goodman, but keeping it just going apples and apples and honoring bid pressure, I guess, if you will, if that's a good term. It breaks out that the education side with Innovative was substantially cheaper than Schmidt Goodman's, and Schmidt Goodman was cheaper, not a gigantic amount, but they still were lower on the breakouts. And so we were able to go through, pick colors with our designers with ATS&R, go through that exercise. It's been almost an 8-week period, I believe, just from actual bidding to vetting to making sure this is what we want, to changing of the guard, if you will, as adding different items, making sure getting every person we can involved, and making sure this is exactly best principle for the property. And so we have those purchase orders going out. Like I said, it's all budget money. We've already budgeted for it, so it's really not a change order. It's just more for information, if you will. It broke out, that's on another sheet. That broke out to Schmidt Goodman was roughly $229,000. Innovative was $208,000. And once again, that's more breakout and educational, if you will. We still have about $30,000, give or take. That's the administration office as a whole, just our office furniture that we haven't vetted completely yet. Changed a couple of those, just actual theory of how the office is going to be used. We're going with a multi-height desk. We're going with the categorical desk, if you will, and then we're going with a standing height. They can actually motivate, pick their own. They can decide to work in their office how they want, just give them the benefit of the doubt. So we're still finalizing that, but that total spend is roughly $30,000, $35,000 max is my estimate. So we're going underneath that. We wrote the purchase order, if you saw, for the irrigation. That was a breakout. You'll see a couple of these purchase orders come through, and it's a little bit different because we've traveled for this 16, 18 months with no purchase orders and just 3 invoices a month coming through. If there's any questions that we want to really break out, that's perfectly fine. I'll try to attack each one individually. As an example, the irrigation, the reason we held out is on bid day, we took an alternate from every contractor that bid on the project. Weezer was the low bid on the job, which is why they're out there working. Their alternate price for irrigation was $65,000. We were able to bring in a local contractor, Winona Nursery, and we priced it up, and it came in, it's $54,000. It's the amount of this purchase order. It's actually a little less than that, but if you read up above it, we're irrigating the islands in the parking lot. What that does is that's going to save the district from carrying a 500-foot water hose around to each individual island and watering trees, keeping those done. So for that $1,500 spend, we're able to irrigate every area on the property that is going to have landscape. So it's going to cut the maintenance down considerably, on something like that. So that's where that difference is on the first order, the bottom number versus if you just look a little bit above it, it's an add of $1,500. Those types of changes, we're trying to just go into as best as a cost savings mode as we can. Some painting as an example. There'll be a couple of invoices you see that are in the $2,000 range, $3,000 range. That's going to be local painters that we are incorporating into the project, trying to keep those guys, trying to keep it as tight as we can in the Rushford area. Getting those things installed. That's all. I think that's really it. I mean, as far as estimates, the buyouts, we're going to start looking at televisions, washers and dryers, all the stoves and ovens. It's coming down. It's tracking exactly where it should. A little bit ahead, actually. So no hiccups. And like I said, those first 2 or 3 months of this year where I really socked you with change orders, I think we're done with that. Any questions?
There'll be fewer. That's what
There'll be fewer. Fair enough.
Would you mention the time capsules so board members want
yep.
to provide some input on that as well?
We do have a time capsule going into the property. It's going to be right near the front door, just to the right of it. It's going to be behind a date stone. It's roughly, for argument's sake, call it 9 inches high, 18 inches wide, 18 inches deep. It'd be a substantial time capsule size. And so we have the box. We're going to wait to install the date stone until after we turn the building over, and we can, I guess, just open the floor for discussion, because what do you want to put in there? How many people do we want to get involved in it? And I think it ought to be its own little ceremony, that kind of thing. And so let's just start thinking about dates, items, people, how big of a deal you want to do, what's the time frame that you want to set on a time capsule, that kind of thing. So we're not in an immediate rush, but put that on your radar for the next 2 months, and let's try to come up with, just a celebration on how we want to actually install that.
I do want to inform the board, just as a follow-up to what Tim is saying to you, is that in preliminary discussions here, we have explored a preliminary open house, which would be Saturday, August 19th. We have informed Weezer Brothers of that, and Tim is aware of that. I'm just making you as a board member. In our discussions as an administrative team, we discussed on the proper way to do that. How do you get people into the building? We wanted to open it up so the public would have a chance to see it. Obviously, we have open houses coming up for the school year, so we are putting that date out there as a preliminary date as an open house. So we invite you to do that. The other significance behind that date is that particular weekend is the 10th anniversary of the flood of 2007. So there are some community events going on, so we thought it would be nice to involve the school in that process as well, and to kind of send the messages that, you know, the recovery process has gone well, and the new school is a part of that process as well, and along with everything else that's taking place in the community.
Good.
Those are end dates. I'm not gonna talk those with you yet. That's a good idea, but that still makes me, we're ahead. I just don't want to commit to that yet.
Well, the turnkey is August 15th,
Turnkey is August 15th.
so 4 days later.
Yeah. We are looking at moving in. I mean, we're putting contractors on notice on move-in dates, on cleaning dates, on owner occupying areas. So it's gonna come up quick. Middle of June, beginning of July, we'll actually have custodians in there cleaning the property, getting that stuff ready to take over. Furniture installs, middle of July. So we're, like I said, we're tracking at a very nice schedule. If all things continue as on, we're gonna make it with no problems, so.
And our playground builds are going to be the 10th and 11th of August as well, so. Those 2 days, and then the 12th is our backup day.
What were those dates?
August 10th and 11th.
And how many volunteers was he hoping for?
60 per day. 20 minimum per shift, and I'll have 2 shifts, so 30 maximum per shift.
And students are eligible as well?
Students are very eligible to help. Yep.
Just checking to see if they're awake back there.
I know. And I'm soliciting students too. I'm gonna work with Mrs. Torkelson too with the WE group and student council, and just really get our students involved and own this process and tours. I mean, Mr. Ayler and I and the other administrators can only do so many tours, so I'm really gonna rely on our students to help lead some of those too for our open house, and really take some great pride and get some nice shirts like you see on campuses. And, you know, I'm gonna require a uniform, they're gonna wear khakis, and they're gonna own it. They're gonna really have fun with it, so I think it'll be fun.
So those are tentative, her dates are firm, but the
Yeah.
open house is tentative, and
Yeah.
we'll continue with we have weekly construction meetings going on every Thursday, and they start generally at 12:30, and if we're lucky, we're done by 3 o'clock. So it's just intensified just to get through everything that we're doing, and right now, there are not enough hours in the day, days in the week, et cetera, to kind of handle everything coming at us, but we're managing to the best of our ability, so. Thank you, Tim, for the update.
Yes, sir.
Anything else for Tim?
Do we need a motion on the change order?
We do need a motion, right, for item 7-1, the change order number 11, right?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Iverson.
Let Dean do it.
All right, Miro, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving new business, the new school update and approval of change order 11, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Do you want, as long as Tim is here, there are a number of things that float around in our community from time to time, and one of them happens to be that we're over budget. So Tim, would you just kind of update the board so that we can kind of put that to rest as well?
Right now, I am tracking at the end of the day, if we don't spend anything that I haven't accounted for, we're looking at $206,000 right now as a surplus. So we're definitely not over budget at this point. That number will drop as we keep adding, you know, different items, but yeah, we're roughly $200,000 to the good at the end of the day. We still have, you know, several million to spend before we get there, but I'm just doing my projected forecasting, and so, yeah, it's about $200,000 to the good.
And the other one that was out there was that we were 3 months behind.
Yeah, roughly 3 months behind.
So we want to put that one to rest as well, is that we're on target. Everything seems to be clicking along, as Tim indicated to you. If everything continues in the process it is, that we would hope that we would be looking at a firm July 5th beginning to move in. As he indicated to you, our custodial staff will be doing the VTC tile floors. So that means that they need to go up and do the scrubbing. That's an actual cost savings to us. And so they would start on the 12th of June with that, and we're estimating approximately 2.5, 3 weeks to make sure that the floors are properly cured. And then with a move-in starting after the 4th of July.
Correct.
Okay, good to know. Moving on to item 2, approve the proposal from Winona Nursery in the amount of $54,837.14 for the irrigation project. And we have the updated itemization for that project. Anybody have any questions on that?
Just to clarify, so everybody's on board, that new number does represent, as Tim indicated to you, the $1,500 additional cost. That is rolled into this final number. So,
That's for the islands in the parking lot, right?
correct.
Okay, any additional questions? Look for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion. Johnson?
Vincent? Is there a second?
Hopeful second.
Second by Cole. Any further discussion on item 2, the irrigation system? All's in favor of approving the new business item 2 for Winona Nursery, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 3 of new business, approval.
Mr. Chair, did we approve the change order?
Yes, we did.
Oh, we did.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
item 1.
Oh, okay.
Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to item 3, approve the list of graduates for the RP class of 2017. And
Mr. Tim is not able to be with us this evening. His wife's grandmother passed away, and so that funeral was today. And so he is not able to get back here in time for the meeting, but he assures me that the students that are listed are in good standing. So without any unforeseen issues here, he is happy to present to you the list of graduates for the ceremony on Sunday.
okay, any questions about that? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve the list of graduates.
Hopeful make the motion to approve.
Motion by Cole, is there a second?
Iverson, second.
Second by Iverson. All those in favor of approving the list of graduates for the RP class of 2017, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to item 4 of new business, approve the school board scholarship recipients of $500 each. The 2 recipients were Ashley Eglinson and Ellen Nelson. Any questions on that? If not, look for a motion to approve scholarships.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Howe. Second.
Johnson, second.
Second by Princeton. All those in favor of approving the school board scholarship signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I just want to say to the board, I just want to compliment you on your selection we had the awards night last Wednesday, and Mr. Tim has included that in his packet, but two very deserving candidates, and so I applaud you as a board on recognizing and supporting these students as they move forward with their move on to college. So thank you for doing a great job with that.
All right, moving on to item 5, approve the resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Sarah Blackmeyer, EL teacher. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Ayler?
Just to clarify for the board, Mrs. Blackmeyer is a probationary teacher. We're required by, or mandated by the state because she is teaching under a variance. She does not have the certification, although she has served us very well this year. This was a new position that we added as a result of the need, and so we're very appreciative to her for her assistance with this, but at the same time, we're mandated by MDE and the Board of Licensure to do a non-renew with her and then advertise the position to see if we can find someone that has that certification.
Okay, any questions about that? Not, I look for a
So the
motion.
position is continuing, right?
Position will, yeah, we have a need, and we will advertise for it and see what we get.
For a motion to approve the resolution.
Hall makes a motion.
Motion by Howe. Is there a second?
Second by Iverson.
All those in favor of approving the resolution related to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract, Sarah Black, I guess we need a roll call for that, I'm sorry.
Valerie Howe,
Aye.
Joyce Iverson,
Aye.
Julie Cope, John Linder,
Aye.
Dean Miro, Bonnie Princeton.
Aye.
6-0 approval. Moving on to item 6, approve the 2016-17 budget revisions. I believe we got something on that.
Yes, Tony has put together some revisions for you so that you can see on the capital projects funds the amount of expenditure that's taking place there, the debt service that we have as well, and then of course down below is the revised budget as well. So those reflect the different changes that have taken place with all the things that we've had taken place as far as the construction project and as far as other debt service.
Okay, any questions on budget revisions?
Hope will make a motion to approve the amended budget.
A motion by Cope to approve, is there a second?
Personal second.
Second by Prince. Any other questions on the budget revisions? Not all those in favor of approving the budget revisions for the 16-17 year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries. Moving on to item 7, approve the first reading of the following policies. And we have 3 of them. There is number 533, the wellness policy, 706, acceptance of gifts, and 511, student fundraising.
Okay, as Chairman Linder indicated to you, this is the first reading tonight, so it gives you an opportunity, but the first one, let me address the first one. The Wellness Committee worked we had a subcommittee. Our Wellness Committee meets the first Wednesday of every month. We had a subcommittee that spent from January through April revising our wellness policy, so that's included in your packet this evening. Acceptance of gifts, we do not have a current policy in place. We're anticipating that there will be some gifts forthcoming from the foundation for the Rushford Peterson schools, so obviously it'd be prudent to have those in place. And then, of course, as we move into the new school year as well, we wanted to fine-tune our student fundraising policy as well. Again, these are the first readings, gives you an opportunity just to take those over the next month and to fine-tune those along with my administrative team as well.
Any questions on the first reading of the three policies? Not, look for a motion to approve.
Howell makes a motion.
Motion by Howell. Second?
Coco second.
Second by Coe. All those in favor of approving the first reading of the three named policies signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 8. Approve health insurance through the Southeast Service Corporation for support staff and administration. Page 20.
Yep, page 20 is the document, and we have to go out and seek bids for that as well. And so based on, we have 20 employees, this includes the support staff, custodial staff, and administrative staff as well. So there are 20 employees that participate in or utilize that insurance, and you can see the cost breakdown. We are looking at a 5% increase over the next 2 years with that. So we did a comparison with the P plan, which the teachers currently have, and asked for input and a vote from the support staff, and their vote was in favor of staying with the Southeast Service Cooperative.
Anybody have any questions on the health insurance plan for support staff and administration?
So the P plan was a little higher,
Might have been just a little bit lower, but the comfort level with the support staff was to say, we really like the different providers that they can access.
or?
And PEEP is a little bit more restricted on providers you can access. So that was their choice.
I noticed your last line said that the P plans also have different deductibles based on the primary clinic.
Oh,
Right.
So that,
oh, okay, I'm not saying.
That was one of the factors as well.
Okay, any other questions on the insurance plan? For a motion to approve,
Howell makes a motion.
by Howe. For a second?
Iverson will second?
Second by Iverson. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of approving item 8, the insurance plan through SSC for support staff and administration, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, superintendent's report. Mr. Ayler?
Sure. Lots of items to go over tonight, but more importantly, I want to just take, even though Hayden is not here, I just want the board to know we're very appreciative of Hayden being on the board as a student representative. We did recognize him last Wednesday evening at the award ceremony, and very appreciative of his willingness to embrace that role. He's done a great job. It's not in my update, but I wanted to share with you something significant that happened as far as our students are concerned. Last winter, they participated in what was called a model legislative session put on by Gene Pulowski. And our students put together, and Andrea Larson was the author of this bill during that, and it was the Rural Electric Cooperative Local Democracy Bill, and it was something that the cooperative was very anxious to see if they could get it approved. And as things moved forward, they were told that they would not secure, they were not able to secure the governor's support. However, I'm happy to report to you today that an email that I received late this afternoon, that as a result of conferences that take place, and it did survive. So, Representative Pulowski was very appreciative of the fact that this was a piece of legislation that started with the Winona model legislation and the Rushford High School students. At that time, Hayden was the governor, the acting governor of that legislative body. So it's really exciting and gratifying to inform the board that grassroots politics still works. And so Gene was extremely appreciative of that, as I am as well, and I sent Brian a congratulatory note this afternoon because he was pretty well convinced that it was not going to happen, but it says in his note to me, it is being passed today in Jobs Bill Senate File 1456. And so he again extended his congratulations to the RP students for making it work. So he used that as part of the whole process. So extremely excited to see that happening. So on my update, obviously there's lots of congratulatory things in there and just bringing you up to date. We have lots of things that we're very grateful for. The community ed, the dance recital, I hope you had a chance to read that. One of the comments that we heard, and I shared it in my thing there, lots of positive feedback from the parents, and it was the best show of all times. So we extended our thanks and appreciation to Michelle Erickson, who leads that up, and Lisa will talk a little bit about that. But just everything that we have going on. Under condolences and sympathies, again, on behalf of the board, I've extended those, and we have one more to add to that. Forrest Musselman's mother-in-law, we learned, passed away on Friday evening, and so we will be extending our condolences on behalf of the board to the family as well. Tim has updated you on the new school update, and I've said it more than once, but I'll say it again. I'm extremely appreciative of having Tim as our leader in that department and serving as our advocate. I feel that we're really blessed with him serving in that capacity, and I'm extremely grateful and appreciative of all that he does. So I don't know what I'd do without his leadership. So thank you again, Tim.
It's recorded too.
Yeah, right. I want a copy of that one.
Yeah.
I am excited also to share with you on the property valuation. Last month I shared with you that we were struggling to get that amount down. We did receive word recently that as a result of the city administrator, Tony Kaladik, and myself working with Cindy Block with the Fillmore County Auditor's Office, we have a new valuation, which is $362,100. So we're extremely appreciative of that as well. So I gave you a brief update on the legislative update. Today is the last day for them to move the legislative process forward. I'm not sure if they're going to do that. Tonight at midnight is their drop dead time, so I'm not sure where they're at with that, but I would just tell you that I would not be surprised or alarmed if they move forward with not being successful and having to call a special session. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or entertain any questions you might have. Now I'll pass the baton to Mrs. Lofton.
Thanks.
Lisa, it's all yours.
Well, I have a lot this month because we're gearing up for summer, but I'll start with just really reiterating what Mr. Ayler said with Michelle and our dance performance. The girls, we had 78 girls, and they were so awesome. On stage, off stage, they just did such a great job. So, and I couldn't do it with all the people that I listed in here, so please take a look at all the names of everyone that helped us out. Summer Rec, that says of May 15th, so we're still taking registrations for many things, and summer track and field. That was a fun one too. Gary's done a track and field youth track meet the last 2 years, and this year I made up a flyer and we sent it to the other schools, and we're starting to get registrations already from other schools. We have 4 already from Fillmore Central, so it's getting out there. It's just a lot of fun. So you can take a look at the registration numbers, but again, that'll change as the month goes on. Jumping over to Kids Club, the highlights 12 and 32 right now were the averages for April. And then right now, we had 45 kids registered, but as of today, we received close to 8 more just today. So we are really close to where we were last year for registration. So feeling pretty good since we're going to be closing 2 weeks early. We're still doing really well with that. Same with our staff. We're really not hiring anybody too new. Just Halen and Allie will be joining us this summer. Otherwise, all of our staff are returning, which is absolutely wonderful for us and training purposes. So you can take a look at that. Lilyview Preschool, we are up to 65 registrations right now so far for next year. We will have 6 sections of preschool, so that's going really well. They did have a field trip at Johnson Rowan Acres, and that'll be highlighted in the Trojan page this month. And then ECFD again, they're doing, they did their daddy-daughter dance, and they had 70 girls with their dads, so that was of course, a lot of fun and very cute. And then the moving update, I did put in there that everybody's packing. If you walked in the elementary, a lot of rooms are already, kind of bearing up, and they're all in boxes, and interesting to see. And then Friday, I put together a slideshow of our process from 2014, just a few slides over the last 2 years, and where we're at. Dan and I walked the building on May 12th, so I know it's changed even in 2 weeks that we've walked, but it was a really fun project. I worked on it over the weekend. It came together really nicely, so it's very fun. So we'll show that on Friday. Because our kids can't get in there until August. I want them to see what they should be really, really grateful for. So I'm excited. That's it.
Good. Any questions for Ms. Lawson? Thank you. Moving on to elementary and middle school principal report. Shepherd, you got something for us?
Yes, just going to highlight a few of the things. One, there seems to be a lot of money in my report this month. The Coin a Day Challenge, raising $558 by the students, K-5, EC-5, and then the Lions donated $250, so a little over $800 in a buy one, get one book fair. Through the year, Mrs. Nelson does a lot of things with the kids, and they earn a free book. The goal is for everyone to get a book, at least one during the year. And this is a big chance to do that. Now, she was closing up shop last Friday, and I said, can I help you pack up? I'm not quite done yet. I've got more books to pick. So she's so excited. And if you go down to the library, boxes and boxes full of brand new books and the books from the shelves, and working hard in the library, just getting ready for our move to it. I'm pretty excited. As everyone is and should be. Summer school those were handed out last Friday, and parents are deciding if their children are going to come this year. It'll only be 4 weeks in June this year because of the move. PI, Partners in Education, I talked to Sue Hoff, and she said, again, it's close to $10,000 that the staff wrote up little mini grants, and they were very generous and gave to most of the staff. I started going through my pile of budget requests today, and lots and lots of pie grant. I'm like, wow. And it's about half and half of, the required things, and like Mr. Ayler and we're all saying, trying to get what you need. Don't get all the extras, and let's, go through your things. And so many teachers are, like Lisa mentioned. You're doing a nice job on it. A lot of classes are boxed up, pretty much done already. So the budget request, that's very thankful for that $10,000. Tony Owen came to me today and showed me a piece of paper with the ADSES funding that I believe I'm still waiting to get the official congratulations letter. But preliminary, we have received the funding, ADSES funding for our intervention program for the next 2 years, and she goes, this is the money, they said, and so it matches, and so that's pretty exciting. Like I said, I told Mr. Ayler, another sign that we're getting this, but no congratulation letter yet, so I'm excited to see that though. But anyway, middle school, everyone's excited about the class trips, finishing up the year strong. The DARE program is coming up in a couple days. 8th grade graduation, that is always a big event. We just start at 1 o'clock and hopefully done around 2:30, and try to include a little bit of everything that talents and excitement for the kids, so nice. The middle school dance, like always, food donations is wonderful. Like in elementary at Christmas time, the food donations for the food shelf is always welcome, and a lot of people pretty happy down there when we bring some boxes full of food to share. The lockdowns and fire drills on both ends, we just had our last fire drill today, like 2:20, and someone from the community walks by, she goes, "What's happening?" I said, "Just our last fire drill." She goes, "Oh, that's nice, good day." But Mr. Tim had planned this day beginning of the school year, so it's perfect. So a lot of smiles, a lot of excitement, and I'm sure Friday when we all start in the gym, Friday morning, the video starts showing, it's, there'll be a lot of kids going, "Wow, I had no idea." So, it's great. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions for Mrs. Shepherd?
I just want to echo what you said about the PI group. I think that's such a group that doesn't get a lot of attention, but they do give a lot of money, $1,000 in
Yes.
additional classroom materials. They have a really direct effect on
Yes.
education, and I think they don't always get the credit they deserve, but thank you for putting that in your report.
I do want to add to one thing, and that's a thanks and appreciation to the individuals that were here today to discuss the importance of Memorial Day. For their students, that was Derek Berg and Jason Reed from the Sons of America.
American Legion.
American Legion, yeah. So, thank you. And then they presented to our students just to help lay that foundation for students to understand that Memorial Day is more than just a day, a vacation day or another holiday. So my compliments to Derek and Jason for their message today.
Good. Okay, moving on, high school principal's report.
I'm going to be taking that for Mr. Tim, and it starts on page 29. And the first thing is, just want you to be aware, his first item is we're looking at offering 8 concurrent enrollment classes next year. So we're excited for that, see that moving forward, continue that. The school was recognized with a Star of Innovation Bronze Award from the Minnesota Association of Secondary Principals, and that's for the Health Core Pathways CNA course that's being taught this semester, both by Aaron Thompson and Dana Thompson. So that has gone very well for us, so we're very appreciative for their leadership in that. He talks a little bit about, near the end of the page there, he talks about we have our teachers involved. We have 21 staff members that will be attending the Institute for Better Learning, and that will be taking place in August at the Casson-Manorville School District. So we're appreciative of our staff being involved in that. On page 30 at the top, he asked me to emphasize to the board and welcome the board to attend a meeting this Wednesday evening. On the 24th, we have the assistant attorney for Fillmore County, Marla Stanton, and the police captain, John DeGeorge, and they're going to be talking about social media safety. So it's open to parents of any 6th to 12th grade student, and so their goal is rather right down to earth, assisting parents in helping them with their child's use of electronics. So he also wishes to extend a thanks to all of those who contributed to prom and the post-prom. As you well know, that's a big event, and everything went smoothly, and everyone's assistance with that was very much appreciated. And then, of course, he's given you a list of the awards that were handed out Wednesday night, and again, for the board members that were in attendance, a very rewarding evening, and even though it gets a little long, it's something of great value, and we're extremely proud and appreciative of all the things that have taken place this year. I do want to draw the board's attention to, on page 32, about halfway down the page, we did offer a new scholarship this year that was the Merlin and Lila Jameson Memorial Scholarship. The family has really been great to work with. There's 4 boys involved there, so Merlin and Lila's children were very ingrained with their parents' basic philosophy of either giving back or paying forward, and as a result of that, they have made a $20,000 contribution to the Foundation for Rushford Peterson Schools, and they handed out their first scholarship on Wednesday evening. And it's a rather unique scholarship from the standpoint that the student gets $1,000 for their freshman year, and at the end of their sophomore year, if they can show that they have continued that giving back and paying forward, that they will be the recipients of an additional $1,000. So I thought that was rather unique, and so I commend the Jameson family for recognizing the importance of and to leave a lasting legacy in memory of Merlin and Lila Jameson. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to add anything to that, but those are the things that Mr. Tim asked me to highlight for you this evening. So if there aren't any questions, I'll pass the baton to Mr. Biebedorf.
Dan, you ready?
Yep, I'm going to start off by sharing some great news. Our softball team is currently in their postseason tournament subsections playing at Randolph, and I have some good news in that we upset Randolph and won 1-0. To share what that means, Randolph was the top 10 team in the state most of the year. They're currently last were 12th or 13th was their QRF, but Savannah Scullett threw 6 2/3 perfect innings, which means no walks or hits or anything, but was able to close it out, so we won 1-0. But we scored I think we scored either in the 6th or the 7th to get our 1 run. So great news. We will play now the winner of Mabel Canton, Lewiston, Altura. Right now Mabel's ahead 4-3 in the 5th inning, but very excited for obviously our softball coaches who are sharing some of that great news with me. Otherwise, we've got postseasons all starting in the other activities this week as well, with the exception of golf. That starts next week. We have conference golf this week. But baseball, we're starting at Lewiston, Altura on Thursday. In the opening round there, we got a 5 seed, so we're a 4 versus a 5 at Lewiston. Track and field subsections are being held at Cotter on this Thursday. And then the top 3 in each event, as well as certain, if you hit the minimum standard in a time or a distance, those people also advance to sections, which will be the following week on the 30th and the 1st. And like I said, golf conferences at Willow Creek this week, followed by a 2-day section event at Willow Creek on May 31st as well as on June 5th. So we're at the postseason time, and obviously starting it out on the right track. So entertain any questions you have, I guess, at this point. Well, let me give an update quick, because I know baseball we had the issue, the questions last time. We ended up, from the B team level, we ended up getting 8 games in, 2 only in April. But in the last 2 weeks of the season, we got 6 games in. There was also some talk on whether or not we were going to lose players or not. We did have one 9th grader choose to leave the team during the season, but he had shared it was not due to the number of games playing. We ended up losing a junior also during the season, but that again was not a B team player. It was a different circumstance. But I know you, Val, you were one that said, can we get an update at this meeting? So that's kind of the update there. We did get 8 games in though for the B team level. So now I would entertain any questions you might have.
Anybody have any comments, questions? Thanks for the update. Okay, brings us to the end of our agenda. The graduation on Sunday. That's at 1 o'clock or
1:30.
1:30. That is quickly coming to the end of the school year.
And it's John and Julie assisting with handing out the diplomas, so thank you for your willingness to do that.
Okay, anything else that anybody has any comments on? Not, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Hal. Second?
Cope will second.
Second by Cope. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We're adjourned. It is 6:35. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Yep, thanks, Dave.